If you've been following along or participating in the San Luis Valley Health Wellness Program, you'll know that taking walks is an important part of that non-exercise activity. Well, if you're interested in amplifying your walking efforts, you can do so by adding a little bit of intensity. I'm going to show you how you can continue your walking habits, burn some more calories, stabilize that core, and get the results that you want to get out of your health and wellness and your walking habits. Here we go.
Yeah, let's go.
Before we get started, do me a quick favor, like this video, subscribe to this YouTube channel, share it with your friends, and that will help support this kind of content coming out of San Luis Valley Health Wellness Program. Thank you in advance. Salutations, wellness friends. This is AJ Webb, your SLV Health Wellness Coordinator, and in this video we're going to talk about ways that you can up the intensity of your walking. Now, I use the word intensity intentionally because intensity is a mix of distance, time, and load. Now, maybe you're thinking, oh, I got to start running since I've been doing all this walking. In that case, you have the same amount of person moving faster over that distance. That would increase the intensity. But maybe that's not in the cards for you. Or maybe you're training to do some kind of a sport that really doesn't require running, like me. I like to go hike, I like to go hunt, I like to backpack, and it doesn't really require running and sprinting, which for me as a bigger unit has a increased chance of injury, even though I still want to work on that. I want to just load myself up. So in this video, I'm going to show you 9 varieties, 9 different ways that you can load yourself up in order to intensify your walking. All right, before we get into these varieties, I'm going to give you some hot tips, some things to think about as you're doing these farmers walks, these rucks, as you're loading up your walking. These should pop up somewhere in this area right here, says Vanna White. Okay, the tip number 1, okay, it's you're going to get tired, you're going to have your heart rate elevated, so you're going to be under some stress. Okay, so that thing that you pick up in the garage and go, oh, that's not too bad. Well, wait till you walk a half mile with it, right? So tip number 2, just be judicious, right? Be a little conservative with what you're carrying. Okay. Tip number 3, have a bailout plan, okay? So that if you have to drop whatever that is, you are able to do so safely. At least think about it. If you can, practice it in a place where you're not going to damage either your floor or whatever it is that you're carrying, right? For me, if I got that big kettlebell over my head, which I'll show you in this video, I want to go practice dropping that thing in the dirt and getting out of the way. Tip number next is protect your back, okay? You're going to want to think about bracing your core, bracing your abs as you're doing these things and keeping it that way. And that when that starts to go, right, you get those big chesty kind of breaths, think about taking yourself a break because you want those muscles engaged in the front via your abs and in the back via your glutes. If you feel yourself getting sloppy, okay, take yourself a break. And that's the last tip. Don't be sad and you had to put it down, right? I've done a lot of things that were mental toughness based. Never ever put this thing down, carry this, you know. Don't feel ashamed to take a break if you need to. Those are your hot tips. Let's get on to the 9 different ways that you can carry stuff to increase the intensity of your walking. And here it is. This is the farmer's walk. I'm using 2 kettlebells because I have them laying around my shop. But anything with a handle, you can fill up old laundry containers full of sand. Use 5-gallon buckets. Anything that you can hold, you can do this 2-handed farmer's walk. As I get going, I take small steps. I brace my trunk, and that is the farmer's walk. Now maybe you only have one thing with a handle laying around. Maybe your grip strength is in the process of being developed, so it's good for you to switch, or you just want a little bit of variety. Here is the single arm farmer's walk. I throw that other arm out there, my trunk's still braced, and I'm using it as a counterbalance. That is the single arm farmer's walk. Now, some people might call this a Zercher carry. Maybe if they're a fitness or a functional movement snob, I incorporate in here the farmer's walk because it's just carrying something heavy with you to make your walk a little bit more intense. I'm keeping it real close to the body, got a nice sturdy grip, and that is a Zercher or a goblet hold, whatever you'd want to call it. There we go on the way back. The first three variations are pretty simple. This one gets a little more complicated. It's a little easier that I have a kettlebell, which is essentially a cannonball with a handle, which is pretty easy to manipulate. It stays put, but this is a front rack or a single arm front rack carry where I'm just lifting that up. It's putting a little more strain on my trunk. I also have the other kettlebell to balance me out. And that is a half front rack farmer's walk. And if the half isn't spicy enough for you, you can do a front rack farmer's walk. Again, more stress on the core. Get your ticker going, get you breathing. Now, extending something that's real heavy over your head, you should only do if you've practiced it with things that aren't so heavy first. I've been putting barbells and things over my head for a very long time, so I feel confident in my ability to assess my shoulder strength and let me know, hey, I might drop this on my melon. Okay, so that's something to think about. But if you're looking for something to really test your shoulder stability, this overhead farmer's walk with just the one arm, they sometimes call this a Philly carry, is another way for you to increase the stress on your body. Now, I've been using kettlebells. Kettlebells are pretty nice because they got that handle for you, but you can start grabbing awkward or odd objects. In this case, I'm grabbing some bumper plates, and this really changes the stress from the trunk and everything into the grip. So I'm burning some extra calories, working a few different muscle groups that I am in the other exercises, and having a little variety in my fitness routine. Now be mindful, you don't want to drop these things on your foot. In this clip, I have one of my favorite do-it-yourself odd objects. It is a military canvas bag, a duffel bag, and it has 2 weights in it. They are 10 pounds apiece. They are contractor bags full with sand, and they are duct tape up. And I can throw them in this canvas duffel bag, and I can walk on down the road. Here's a quick peek at those things that I have stuffed inside that duffel bag. As you can see, they are a couple of contractor bags, which are just big, thick plastic bags. I filled them with 10 pounds of sand that I measured out on a bathroom scale, and then I duct taped them up so they wouldn't break and spill all over the place. I made those 7 years ago. I have put them in backpacks. I've done all kinds of things. My kids like to play with them. They are great, inexpensive DIY home gym equipment right there. Ba-bam, ba-bam, ba-bam. And here's one more way to intensify your walk. Throw on a backpack. I like walking with a heavy pack. It gets me ready for hunting season, gets me ready for camping, and I've done this with school backpacks that are not meant for carrying heavy loads, where I've only thrown 10, 20, or 30 pounds in there. And this is a 100-liter pack. I've thrown as much as 80 pounds in there and walked around. And I got to take some breaks because it's pretty hard. But there I am, taking a walk. I got my backpack on, and I'm intensifying my walk. And if you already have yourself a backpack, and even if you don't, you can probably get yourself one from a thrift store. I've got a JanSport from the early 80s that has a frame on it that works great. I got a backpack that carries my kid. And if you don't have a kid or something to put in there or a whole bunch of gear, just build some of these contractor bags for about $10, you can get yourself 50 pounds of sand, some contractor bags, and some duct tape, and you'll be able to put these together, use them for a real long time to load that backpack up and intensify your walk to meet your fitness goals. Thanks for watching this video. If you like this content, do me a solid. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. Like this video. Share it with your friends. That will help support content like this coming out of the San Luis Valley Health Wellness Program. Have a super day.
Nobody ever said it's gonna be easy. It's hard, but I plan on walking. Oh, I'm gonna walk. Hard. Walk hard.